reveal that, you know, Black Widow, you know, so to put them in those crazy costumes in that very real environment felt like there was a way to somehow anchor it down. But as more and more elements become superhuman and superhero-ish, it becomes harder to find those little those pick points to ground it in something that you could relate to, at least for me as a storyteller.
Yeah. There's some filmmakers and actors who are very much into comics. I mean, they grew up being really beholden to it. I know that you were more like a Dungeons and Dragons guy. I mean, you were like, you got your storytelling.
Yes, thank you. There we go. Keep it real.
8-sided dice,
yes.
baby.
Yeah.
I was reading the Fabulous Furry Freak Brothers.
Yay!
So I was into Star Wars. Yes, that was a big one for me, and all the Spielberg stuff, the Harrison Ford, which was what's making it really fun to work with them. All those movies, but. Yeah, I didn't know, to me, especially as we went back and looked at the comics, like, hey, there's thousands of stories in there, just pick one.
Right. And
you start reading through it. We kind of like the demon in the bottle thing, but there was a sensitivity to having him being too involved with the alcohol.
We should have gone further.
But there was a lot of, you know, there was a lot of pressure, like, we don't want to see Tony drinking in the movie, we were told. So it was his illness that made him act kind of that way. But he's still kind of drinking in the movie, so hopefully if you're a little kid, you think, oh, he's sick, and if you're older, you're like, oh, he's hammered.
We should have got further.
What about, you know, for you, Robert, I mean, it's interesting watching Johnny Depp, a guy that, much like you, has a great, tremendous acting talent and background stuff, doing these popcorn films, and now he's really inhabiting this character, Jack Sparrow, and he's done it for a bunch of movies. Yeah. It looks like you're going to have this as a part of your career. Of course, you're doing other things. You're doing Sherlock Holmes and things like that as well. Yeah, absolutely. For you, what's the...
Hold on a damn second.
What's that?
I brought the missus with me, so I just do want to say, while she's sitting up there somewhere, that she did a fabulous job producing Sherlock 2.
That's going to be great. And Iron Man 2.
Absolutely.
And Iron Man 2 as well.
Yay!
For you, what's the, since you're going to have Tony Stark with you, what is your sort of philosophy about that? Like the upside and downside? I mean, what's the maintenance required for you to have a role that stays with you persistently?
Well, first of all, I can forget things really easily. Like I remember, you know, in the first Iron Man, I remember I just had two notes. One was just look a little taller and in better shape and be just a little bit cooler than you actually are. Talk just a little lower sometimes, but like don't change much or it'll look like you're putting on a persona, you know. But it definitely is a persona, but it's one that I feel so privileged to be able to even be associated with. And it is trippy, you know, it's really odd doing Avengers now, you know, without John. It's just odd the way that life happens, and these things wind up becoming, they wind up kind of taking on a trajectory and an inertia of their own, but you're still part of them, and that you remember where it all started. It's kind of like, I don't know, I think it's kind of like graduating high school in a way, you know, in a kind of weird way.
Yeah. And for you, John, I mean, you know, you obviously have Cowboys and Aliens this summer.
I can't wait to see that.
And it was so great coming out and seeing you on the set and seeing you with Harrison and just knowing you and then you just giving direction to a guy that meant so much to you and working side by side with Ron Howard and Steven Spielberg. That's going to be extraordinary.
It is. It's different because honestly, the experience on Iron Man was brand new. The Marvel. They didn't even have really any offices per se or an infrastructure, and we just kind of set up camp and made that movie, and everybody, and even with the success of Iron Man and Iron Man 2, it was all the people that we started out with in the beginning. We all went through that together, Kevin, Feige, Jeremy, Robert, myself.
Sure.
So it kind of...
Kevin's driving a brand new Jaguar now, by the way.
What?
Kevin's driving a brand new Jaguar now, by the way.
As well he should.
Is it red and yellow, like Iron Man?
No, it's really cool.
And then...
But it's in the shop because, yeah, I'm sorry, it's in the shop, he scratched it. I don't know why that had to come out. It feels good to talk about normal things once in a while. Back to you, John. Always Captain.
So So it is like, it was like Thanksgiving dinner where you go back, or like school where you go back and they still treat you like past the potatoes, But then when you get to leave and go to another set or another production, work with different people, now all of a sudden you're the guy who's done these movies.
Yeah.
So it's a strange, different, you're defined differently as you go to different places, and people, and you kind of feel like, I didn't make it, I was just kind of there when it happened. It's like when my kids were born,
Yeah.
I guess technically I made them, but not really. It just sort of happened.
That's great.
And they hurt coming out.
See that restraint right there? I didn't follow it.
It's good. No, she's good. That's good. You're growing.
Here's the other thing too.
Here comes the episiotomy joke.
And go.
By the time we were doing Iron Man 2, also, this was a great lesson. We had, between John and I, we had the sort of creative leverage that I don't think has been experienced in many, many years, at least at kind of a really big level. And so, as much as the movie was also a reflection of that, and we're proud of it and stuff, I think we also learned huge lessons, and then it's also been nice to go into other realms. Like, I can't wait to see Cowboys and Aliens, and I also am super excited for John. I don't want to say I was envious, but I was like, wow, dude, he's tripping with Danny and Harrison right now, isn't he? Down there in the desert.
And Olivia Wilde.
And Olivia Wilde. I'm happily married. Who's Olivia Wilde?
I saw something on the internet, but I don't know.
Okay. Do you want to see some of the movie? You want to see some of Cowboys and Aliens?
Dude, you
I know it's Iron Man. It's okay with you.
Are you kidding?
Yeah.
Yes, of course.
There's this. Please don't film this.
Don't.
Because
Yeah.
there's
Sniper,
stuff that I don't want on the internet necessarily. It's a nice long chunk of the movie. It's like 9 minutes of the film.
You guys ready?